Welcome to episode 11 of FCLE Seminar, the Florida Civic Literacy Exam podcast. I'm your host, Mercedes Musto. The FCLE podcast is where we review like American government and stuff to help you prepare for the Florida Civic Literacy Exam. Today, we're taking a look at a Supreme Court case called Engel versus Vitale, 1962. This is all based on the guide put together by the Florida Department of Education. Hey, I've got that links to the study stuff in the show notes, so check those out and don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to our podcast at FCLE Seminar on YouTube. Got it? Great, let's get started. Landmark Supreme Court case number 10, Engel versus Vitale, 1962. Case background. In the early 1960s, is like a seemingly innocuous practice in New York public schools ignited a legal battle that would reverberate through the entire nation. See, the New York State Board of Regents said it was okay for public schools to begin each school day with a non-denominational prayer. The prayer went something like this and was totally voluntary. Almighty God, we acknowledge our dependence upon Thee, and we beg Thy blessings upon us, our parents, our teachers, and our country. End prayer. Okay, so students were permitted to opt out of this prayer by saying, like, no, or being silent during the prayer time, or even leaving the room. However, the core issue was whether this state-sponsored non-denominational religious activity violated the First Amendment's Establishment Clause. Well, now, and additionally, Stephen Engel, a parent, challenged this law on behalf of his child, arguing that it violated the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment. That's what I was saying. So the question becomes, does state-sponsored prayer, even if it's voluntary, violate the First Amendment's Establishment Clause? The court's decision. In a majority 6-1 decision, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the parent Engel. The majority opinion delivered by Justice Hugo Black. He said he held that the state-sponsored prayer, even though it was non-denominational and voluntary, violated the Establishment Clause. See, the court emphasized that the First Amendment's purpose was to prevent government involvement in religious matters, and that the state could not compose official prayers used in public schools. Justice Black's opinion highlighted several key points here, like, number one, the government should maintain neutrality towards religion, neither promoting nor inhibiting it. The Establishment Clause protects those with religious views as well as the rights of those who do not adhere to any religion. And 3, the court cautioned against government involvement in religious affairs, citing Thomas Jefferson's historical examples of like the whole separation of church and state. The constitutional principle, we're looking at the First Amendment here. The Establishment Clause of the First Amendment to the United States Constitution states, quote, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. This clause, let's break it down, has 2 main parts. The first part is the Establishment Clause. This clause prohibits the government from establishing a state religion or favoring one religion over another. It aims to prevent the government from endorsing or promoting a specific religious belief or practice. The second part, prohibiting the free exercise thereof clause, well, this clause protects the right of individuals to practice their own religion freely, without government interference. See, stuff like this sparks public backlash, with many people feeling that their rights were like infringed upon, infringed on their religious liberty. But let's look at it in another light. The court has recognized that public prayers in like adult contexts, such as legislative sessions or town council meetings, maybe, those are permissible under certain circumstances as long as there's like no coercion involved. Hey, you know what? This is very, very good. You're doing great. Have you checked out those FCLE study shorts on YouTube? It's like a 60-second review for your test. Yeah, check those out. Let's review. Here are the key takeaways in the landmark Supreme Court case Engel versus Vitale. Breaking it down, number one, a New York state law required public schools to start each day with the Pledge of Allegiance and a non-denominational prayer, which was voluntary to participate in. Next, a parent, Stephen Engel, challenged this law on behalf of his child, arguing that it violated the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment. Reviewing the Establishment Clause, the Establishment Clause has been the subject of numerous legal challenges in Supreme Court decisions. Some key points to remember about that are, number one, the government cannot establish an official state religion. Two, the government must maintain neutrality towards religion, neither favoring nor disfavoring it. Is disfavoring a word? It is now. And while not explicitly stated in the Constitution, the concept of separation of church and state is often associated with the Establishment Clause. Think Thomas Jefferson. This means that government and religion should remain distinct and independent of each other. The Establishment Clause, First Amendment, plays a crucial role in protecting religious freedom and ensuring that the government does not become involved in religious matters. It's this fundamental principle of the American constitutional system. You got it. Hey, thanks for listening. Join us again on FCLE Seminar, a Florida Civic Literacy Exam podcast, so you can start studying for your test. The important thing is to start studying today. What are you waiting for? Like, subscribe, or leave your questions or comments for us at FCLE Seminar on YouTube. And don't forget to check out our YouTube study shorts that are 60 seconds or less. This podcast is listener supported. Contributions can be made via the listener support link on Spotify, or you can buy me a coffee via the link in the show notes. This is your host, Mercedes Musto. Join me again on FCLE Seminar, a Florida Civic Literacy Exam podcast, so you can pass the FCLE.